Web3 domains serve a different purpose. They are your digital identity. They're your digital wallet. They are your preferences encoded into your identity. There's an unimaginable, truly unimaginable number of utilities for, let's say, curation, specialization, and these really personal utilities for people that go way beyond just, oh, this is where I'm going to receive money, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. Your wallet is a pretty big deal, right? That's pretty important. And that is actually where the business utility is. I think about, from a business perspective, I think that like the utility of these Web3 domains is like similar to the emergence of social media. It was like, okay, your company is called, Red Apple. Well, now there's Twitter and Instagram. Well, you better go get, Instagram/Red Apple. And you better go get, Twitter/Red Apple. And the reason for that is because you want your brand to be consistent. And so your brand is ultimately going to want to engage with Web3. And as you do that and you're receiving payments and you're publishing identity and wallet information for a variety of different reasons, you want that branding to be consistent. And so you want to own the Red Apple wallet, whether it's redapple.wallet or redapple.eth or redapple.whatever. You want to have that consistent branding. Okay.
Let me jump in here for a quick sec, just because
we're covering
we're covering a lot of stuff, and I want to make sure we're I'm asking some questions because I think the listeners are going to have questions as you're breaking things down. So I do want to jump into branding in a quick sec, and I want to jump in to utility too. But before that, you kind of mentioned ownership here. You talked about how the customers are going to be put in the driver's seat with NFT domains. And I think part of that is because now you own your digital identity and you own your data, and you bring that data with you to the applications you use versus using applications and getting your data taken from you because in exchange for the free service. And so going back to this ownership thought, do you think like the market really realizes the difference in ownership and the power in that self-custody of domains versus Web 2 right now? Or is that something people are still largely like thinking about? Because when I think about Web 2, your domain sits in just, you know way more about it than me, but like your domain sits in your GoDaddy account. And you can transfer it, you can sell it, but I wouldn't call that true ownership like we can see in the NFT and crypto world. And then just going forward, people are going to want to own those identities on the internet versus, you also mentioned using accounts. Like you think accounts are going to go away. I heard you say. So when you have an account on Facebook or an account on Twitter, or really, I don't know, I'm Comcast, like whatever it may be, like you have all these separate accounts and you don't own those. The company owns that versus you having your identity that you go in and log in with. So, do you think people are really realizing that fundamental shift in ownership right now?
Okay, 100% no. Obviously, there's some fringe amount of people who geek out on this stuff, like me, and they understand it and they're excited about that, including me. But traditional domain names, you don't actually own it. Just in the exact same way. I mean, precisely exactly the same way as you don't own your home. I own my home technically, right? I don't have a mortgage, but I still don't actually own my home. If I don't pay my property taxes after 2 years, the state is going to take my home and they're going to auction it off to the highest bidder, and to recover the taxes that are owed and to put the property in the hands of a better owner from their perspective. It's one that will continue to pay the property taxes. And domain names are the same. You own it. I can pay $1 million and buy a domain name, but actually what I own is the rights to a domain name. And those rights are contingent on me paying renewal fees to ICANN and my service providers, say GoDaddy. So that is an entire episode in and of itself to understand the inner workings of that. Is this a service or is this property? Right? Do you own a service contract or do you own property? Right? And I would say that what you own in Web 2 with a Web 2 domain name, a .com, for example, is you own a service contract, and you in Web 3 you own property. Okay, so there is a very important distinction between these two.
You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web 3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.